welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing. Each episode takes a deep dive into the franchise space and explores how the biggest and best brands handle national branding, franchise development, employee recruitment, and localized marketing on a daily basis. This podcast is brought to you by NetSertive, a localized digital marketing partner for franchise networks. NetSertive talks shop with franchise executives to discuss what's working, what's not, and answers the question, what else can you be doing to excel at the art of franchise marketing?
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Erin Martin, and this episode's brought to you by NetSertive. Today, our guest is Ashley Beckwith, the Senior Digital Marketing Manager for Stellar Service Brands. Ashley, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Erin. I'm super excited to be on.
And so just to kick it off and dig in, can you give a little bit of background on you and your role at Stellar Service Brands?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Stellar Service Brands for 8 years now, and my role as the Senior Manager of Digital is really the MarTech stack that we have, and managing that tech stack and making sure that our franchisees can adopt the tools that we use and then rolling out programs for adoption. So that's where my main focus has really been over these last 8 years, along with some SEO and paid media as well.
Which I love because I'm so excited to pick your brain on all those things, especially how they come together, because so much of any initiative being successful is that systems or operations piece that makes it so simple, so easy, so adoptable by franchisees. And so the idea or almost creation of a campaign or a playbook is only half the battle to make it so simple to execute too. So I'm curious, just to give us the high level view too, then what does that marketing playbook look for you guys in terms of what do you handle at the home office versus what do you have franchisees take care of?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with playbooks that we have, a lot of what we include in our tech stack obviously is all provided to the franchisees. And we really provide them with a content strategy that they can replicate at the local level, including not just content generation, but how to solicit for reviews and generate more reviews in terms of local service ads. What does your budget need to be for local service ads? So with all of that information that we have the tech stack in place that we can then push out to the franchisees and they're able to log in and actually execute those strategies at the local level. And we can either help them with executing that strategy as needed, but it is up to them to execute at the local level in their market.
Okay. And so then for you guys, is the playbook like a PDF guide and then you have different tools for them to log into to execute? What is that combination?
Yeah. That's exactly right. So we have a playbook and it goes through a PDF guide of internal links that they can click and go into certain logins or certain aspects of our intranet or certain sites. That is really meant for their all-in-one place for what do I need to do next. So this playbook will say, okay, if you have 3 pages of content that's in your strategy, you go to Yext, you log in, and here's how you can upload the content. And we include step-by-step training guides as well. So when they're in all of these platforms, they have guides that they can look at on their other screen and just follow the steps for how they need to add content or manage reviews or whatever they might be doing within their business.
Yeah. And so for those franchisees, how are you tracking adoption and engagement right now and staying on top of, are you doing it?
Yeah, there's a few KPIs we look at, right? So in terms of the biggest kind of strategy that we have right now, which is content generation for the local franchisees, look at logins to the platform. Now that doesn't tell the whole story. They could just be logging in and being like, I don't know, and logging right back out, right? So we also then look at, okay, how much content have they produced in the last month, 2 months? And we can actually see the new pages that have launched for them in the last few months to determine who's following through with that local content strategy or who might need a little push. And then for those who might need a little push, what's really great is that we have HubSpot in our tech stack as well. So we can just set up sequences and push those people to start creating pages or whatever they might need to do and point them to the tech stack of where they need to go.
I haven't heard HubSpot be used in that way, like your own nurture campaign for your Z's, which is cool. And that's such good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something new that we're starting because we needed a way to get the franchise owners who aren't producing the types of content they need to produce and use our tech stack to do it. We needed a way to get more than just maybe quarterly calls or a webinar. So we are using HubSpot to do those internal type of nurture campaigns and try and help them drive adoption to all those different pieces in our tech stack.
Yeah, that's cool. And so
Yeah.
is it basically is the logic that you have set up like if someone hasn't logged in, engaged, done whatever, then send them a reminder?
Yeah.
Like what's the actual kind of nurture stuff?
So we're going to have fields on the company records of has local pages, XYZ, yes, no. And then it'll look at those custom fields that we put on the records and send whatever based on that. So the plan is to integrate it not just with like content on our website, but are they integrated with the review management platform in their CRM for automated reviews? Are they using the AI agent to respond to the reviews? So we can have all those metrics that we're going to track and then send out the nurture campaigns to get them to start learning and doing this stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious, like in that playbook, and I'm sure at your time over the past 8 years, you've seen this change. Like, what's working the most for Z's right now when it comes to
Yeah.
marketing?
What is working the most is very hyper local content, templated content that franchisors could produce across several locations. Just doesn't really cut it anymore with all the Google updates that have rolled out in the LLM space. So super hyper local content, such as case studies with actual data in it regarding the jobs they're doing, time of day, was it a holiday, those types of things. We're seeing a lot of traction with that type of content and converting on Google, of course, in the traditional search methods, but LLMs is really the space that we want to win compared to our competitors. So that's where we're really seeing a lot of benefit. The reviews are huge in traditional search and LLMs as well, not just for customers who read reviews and decide who to pick, but more than ever now, it affects your ranking on Google and the LLM when they respond back to somebody with information. So those are the two kind of key pieces we're really seeing and pushing. You need to push out super hyper local content on an ongoing basis. And then you also need to make sure you're continually managing and getting more reviews, because those two key pieces together are just going to accelerate your organic growth and your growth over the LLMs, which we're starting to track as well.
Yeah, and that definitely mirrors, I think, where a lot of people's heads are at or what they're seeing in the space right now in terms of what's working. It's like we've all finally realized, okay, after however many years of ad costs continuing to rise, like beating our heads against the table with paid media, it's yes, that's still a channel you want to have on, but it can't be the
Mhm.
end all be all. What are the other
Yes.
faucets you're turning on? And then similarly, it's as we turn on this other faucet, like we can't turn the others off. We need to
Yes.
still have diversification. And maybe there's one area that you're getting some more fruit, but that doesn't stop harvesting and planting seeds in other areas.
Absolutely. We always say that if you're running paid campaigns and you don't have a good organic SEO foundation, you're really doing a disservice to yourself. So making sure that if you're running those paid campaigns, you really need to have good content and a good foundation in order to help see that succeed. It's not just one or the other. Same thing with local service ads. Making sure you have all those reviews, that feeds into everything as well. So we definitely like to make sure that before they go to the paid media type of stage for a lead channel, that they have those reviews and they have the content necessary. Otherwise, we see those campaigns really just fail time and time again. So like you said, totally agree. Making sure that you invest in the every aspect. And of course, you'll get data back and figure out what works and what doesn't. But part of what we help our franchise do is we're able to collect all the data from all of our different systems we use and provide dashboards for our franchisees. We have scorecards for them that show their top metrics from the website, from leads, from revenue, financials. So tying all of this together is really what the franchisees need to see what is working and what's not, especially in the digital space.
Yeah. And are you guys doing all of that in HubSpot or do you have a separate BI tool for the dashboard?
We have a separate BI tool for the franchisee scorecard that we're using. So it's not pulling HubSpot or anything, but we have a warehouse we built of all of our data that then syncs to these BI scorecards that our franchise coaches use as they talk to these franchisees monthly or go and visit them and hit on the high level KPIs and then obviously dig further into the details. But it's been very helpful to see just paid spend, organic spend, what are you getting? And just giving them that insight, because a lot of times they don't know. They have an agency that's managing this, maybe someone in-house that might be an expert, but this allows us to help coach them even more with the data that we have. So it has been super helpful to try and navigate that.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of noise, confusion, and education that you can remove when you have access to that, even if it's just the integrations of paid media to booked revenue.
Yeah.
Even if you started small with one channel, moved on from there.
Yep.
But it is wild. It's like, okay, oh, all of a sudden I don't have to coach them or educate them on every single channel and journey, and basically doing a whole marketing mastermind education so that they comprehend. This is why cost per lead and conversion rates and funnels, like all of a sudden you're having this crazy conversation to explain marketing where it's like, if you could just get out of it, you would never have to educate them on it because all they want to know is like, I'm putting money somewhere, what's happening? So it's like that's everything. And if they can just associate, oh, I did my review checklist, I did this other playbook, and now I'm seeing booked leads and customers. That is all.
Yeah, and before it was hard. That was the issue, was the connection to the ROI. They'd have agencies or people telling them, we got you 20 leads this month from our paid campaigns. But then as a franchise owner, they're sitting there and they're like, I had 2 jobs this month. What are you talking about? So there was always a disconnect because the leads never had a way to get matched to a job, essentially. So with the scorecard, it allows that insight to that. So the franchisee can start matching those jobs to those specific channels. And it has really definitely helped open their eyes a little bit to seeing, okay, all this stuff is being done. This is actually what I care about. What money am I making? And if it's in the red, that okay, let's fix it. So now they can actually see, oh, it is in the red. Let's fix it, rather than just guessing.
Yeah, that is so epic. And I know that type of initiative is not a nothing. So I'm curious for you guys, how did you start off that process and build that BI dashboard? What was the process like? How did you roadmap it? Give us kind of details into that.
So it was really a huge team effort. The ops team on our side really helped. The finance team helped as well with the financial data. The ops team helped with what information do we want to present to these franchise owners and what way that it makes sense. And then we work with our development partner to create these BI dashboards. Now, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know a lot about the BI dashboard or what even type it is. I don't know all that stuff. But I do know that it was about like a year-ish long project. And to finally get it to a point where we could share it with the franchisees took about a year. A lot of issues collecting the data wasn't being returned. Access issues with the scorecard just in general, not showing what it needs to. So it's about a year-long project that we started in 2025, and in early 2026, I believe it was ready to go and rolled out. So it was very exciting to see the final product of all of that and how helpful it has been to our network.
Yeah, that is so epic. And I always say I've seen so many integration projects or trying to build dashboards. And I think the biggest learning that I've seen over the years is don't try to buy, really start small and just continue to integrate. So it's again, start with integrating with your CRM or POS system to like one thing. Like just get that and some super simple metrics, like over bake everything. You just have to do rapid iteration and obviously have the right team or resources or partner to help you do it. But it's like the over engineering. You can just like spin some cycles, scope creep, like it becomes this monster that never will be.
Yep. And that we had a lot of that because there's so much you can do with all of the data
Yes.
we're getting. So like being able to actually like close in on what's needed. It's hard for someone who thinks that stuff's so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we nailed down kind of our main KPIs. So we look at just overall leads, revenue, web traffic, conversions from the website, reviews, all of that data that's in our MarTech stack is able to be pulled in for this scorecard, which is really great to see.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And then how do you guys coach on the home office side when you have access to the scorecard now too? So you've got
hmm
like nurture campaigns that you trigger. What other touch points do you have where you're
Yeah. So our franchise consultants have touch points with their group of franchisees every month. That is where the scorecard is mainly used from the franchise consultant standpoint. And then from the marketing team side, we do a lot of marketing calls with the franchisees. So we'll also use it during those calls and when we perform digital audits. So a lot of what we do is perform digital audits for our franchisees when they request leads are low, not getting any traffic. I need to see what is going on. So that's just another piece where we'll produce an audit and use that scorecard to help show them what's happening and come up with a strategy for them to implement in their market.
and how do you do that across your portfolio of brands? You've got a lot going on when you've got three
Yeah.
different brands in the mix. So is there an approach that you take differently for different brands? Is it always mostly just inbounds that you handle? Like how do you process kind of that?
Yeah, so it's a lot of inbound where it comes in waves where we'll get a lot of inbound. Hey, leads are down. I need an audit. What's going on? But a lot of what we do is we'll do just quarterly overall strategy updates and release to the network. Hey, here is the overall strategy that we're handling at HQ. And then here's the local version that you need to implement. So it's twofold where, quarterly we'll release these local strategies that they need to implement. And then we continuously follow up and make sure that they're doing what they need to do. And then they'll usually request that audit when, hey, I'm still having some problems, things aren't working. And that's where we'll go into some more detail and further strategy.
Yeah. What do you find the most when you do those audits? What's the biggest trend that pops up?
Yeah, the biggest trend is local content. A lot of them don't have it, right? And from an HQ standpoint, it's not something that we provide local content for every single location. So that's one miss that we always find is you don't have any service pages in X city or you have no educational blog posts, you don't have case studies. That's the number one thing that we find missing from their strategy. It's just the actual content to propel everything forward.
Yeah. And is it mostly website content or is it also what they're using in social, whether
Yes.
it's organic, like all the above?
So we'll get a mix. Across the board, it's mostly website content. Some people they lack social and they don't post on Google or on Facebook. Some do really well, but it's just the overall kind of lack of content that's produced by them. We know social goes into it too a lot, those posts on social and all of that in Google. It's just an overall lack of that type of content that needs to get put out there. And like I said, because from an HQ standpoint, it's not something we provide for every single location. We really make sure that we provide exactly what you need to be posting and what you need to be writing about. And then we obviously give them options of agencies they can use or if they want to do it on their own.
Yeah. And it's funny because as marketers, sometimes it feels super complex when we get into the weeds and the algorithms and we're like, okay, what exact content is performing? What's the format?
Mhm.
What's the hooks? What's the teasers? Like we go real deep when really at the end of the day, it's like you just need quality,
Yep.
authentic content that's speaking to the right audience so that
Mhm.
people and LLMs and all these algorithms say
Mhm.
you are relevant. You are
Yeah.
local business that's trusted. You're speaking authority on this. Like, it doesn't have to be over
Yes.
complicated
It's
where
not
like
rocket
marketers take
science.
it there.
Right, I always tell people it's not rocket science as long as you know what service you're providing, who your audience is. Just write what you need to write. And we have templates built, obviously page templates, and they just fill in the blanks. And we provide them with example content to give them a head start. But I'm with you. It's really, if you know what your service is, who your audience is, and what areas you want to provide that, the content should write itself and you don't need to think about it too hard, or, oh, maybe I should put this here, or I need to insert this keyword here. It's not really about that anymore, where, yeah, maybe even 5 years ago, having all those keywords was what you need. But nowadays, just writing authentic content with real world data, authored by Joe Smith, owner of XYZ, just all of that is essentially what the algorithms and people want to see. Authoritative content from people who know what they're talking about.
And that gold grab bag I always think of is just what questions are customers asking? If you need something tangible to work with, just run with that. That is literally all you need. That's answering their questions. That's literally what's in their heads. Like, just stop and find out what they're wondering and asking questions about.
Yeah. And a lot of what we help them with is finding out those questions, either through SEMrush or Google Search Console. What are people already searching for you? Do you have content for that or not? Start there. So we really try and help guide them towards that right path for that local content, and try not to make it as intimidating as it might seem, because like we said, it's super simple, really. It's write about what you do.
Yeah. Or phone calls. That's another huge one. Like, phone calls come with transcripts where then you can use AI to just be like, what are the top 10 questions that customers have in like these 3 months or whatever it is. If it's seasonal, you can get different questions. So there's just so much that you can go off of, but then you need to make sure to make it simple for those E's.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have statistics. The franchisees who have these content social plans, they're following the playbook, perform at a higher rate than those who don't. They get more sales, they have more traffic, they have more leads. So we have case studies that we'll do as well, and just put that data out there, because you can say all of this, but if you don't have the data to back it up, the franchisees aren't going to trust you. So we always make sure we provide this type of data to them so they can see specifically, hey, these playbooks, there's a reason why they're out there. Here's the proof in the pudding, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And going back to when you were talking about LLMs, I'm curious if you guys, because you're just putting content out there, which is awesome because it works for Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity. It doesn't matter because you're putting something out there that's going to be good for all of them. But I'm wondering if you guys are seeing traffic from other LLMs besides just Google itself, because it's such a monster. What's that look like for you guys?
Great question. So we are seeing traffic. ChatGPT is the main LLM right now that's driving a lot of our traffic, and the conversion rate from just a traditional search versus ChatGPT or an LLM is insane. Our conversion rate for an LLM is 25%. So the people who are using LLMs, there are people who need service and they're looking for it now. So we're getting traffic from ChatGPT, from Gemini, not as much from Claude, but I think Claude is more of a data tool than a consumer searching tool. But it's cool to see that, and we're starting to get more reporting and analytics too on it, which is cool to see. But we're seeing that the conversion rate from those LLMs is way higher than traditional search. So that's just goes to show how the journey is shifting.
Yeah. And I think industry stats like 100% back that up too.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples that come to mind when you think about a typical search query that people are using on Google then versus ChatGPT? Are they doing longer form researching? And so brands show up?
In the LLMs, it's more of, I have water damage in my basement. I need someone now that's certified. Who do I call? It's very long, run-on sentences, no punctuation. They are just word vomiting, basically, into the LLM. Whereas people who use Google search, it's still more structured.
Water damage.
Restoration company near me. It's still very that type. Now, because of Gemini and AI overviews, people are starting to search more conversationally, but it's not as heavy as an actual LLM like ChatGPT or Perplexity.
Yeah. because of the behaviors that have been built into us. Isn't that funny? It's
Yeah.
like when you go to ChatGPT, we know our brain already knows, oh, you use it this way. We're Google,
Uh-huh.
it's embedded in our brain. For
It's
20 years, you type simple things.
Yeah, it's so weird. It is just very weird.
Yes. Okay, that's cool. And so I think that's the other piece too, is you hear so often that, yeah, like ChatGPT, the LLMs, they're all used for longer form research. They're conversational, but they can be
Mhm.
conversational in I need something now.
It's more than just one search, where on Google, it's just water damage company near me, and that's it. Whereas in the LLMs, I could say I need a water damage company that's certified. It gives them options. Tell me about the reviews, and they'll keep asking like a full conversation, which is where you need to provide that content for them to pull. They're not just going to pull it out of thin air.
Yeah.
And what's nice is we are using Yext Scout. So it provides us some detail on where these LLMs are actually pulling data from. And a lot of it is just the website, first party listings, everything
Yep.
you can control.
Yep.
So that's why we make sure that these franchisees are putting out this content so it has somewhere to pull factual information rather than
Yeah. Like that
nothing.
certified is a perfect example. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, like if a lot of customers are looking for someone who's certified, have a blog post, have a page, have other content on it, answer it in an
Yeah.
FAQ. You want in your reviews for it to mention that too. And
Yep.
one trick that I love too is a customer could post any review
Mhm.
and you could respond and put certified in it to help that word become a trigger. It doesn't have to be your customer saying it. You
Yep.
can use it to also then have certified in the reviews.
Yeah. And what is really cool specifically about that certified, because that's a piece that we see a lot is people look for certified, trustworthy, is we have these local team pages for on the website where they can upload headshots, put certifications, names, bios. So it can literally say, Josh Smith is XYZ certified and has worked for 10 years, whatever it may be. So providing that information. And in the reviews, like you said, we have that AI agent that responds. So we can essentially coach that AI agent into using XYZ terms. So everything folds together.
Yes, I love it. And is that review agent who responds? Have you
Yeah.
put it and it automatically will respond? Or do you guys have a human check it and push it?
So it's through Bird Eye, which is our reputation management platform, and they have AI agents that respond to reviews that you can input details in the back so it can respond in your brand voice or use these types of words when they can. So that's what we use across all of our franchise networks to respond to reviews. We do give the franchisees the option to turn it off and respond themselves because a lot of times people still like to do that. But review response time and
Yes.
velocity is all very important
Yeah, that
in
trade-off.
our world.
Yeah. Yeah. If
So,
100% of franchisees did it, there wouldn't be
yeah.
a need for the automation.
Yep, that's exactly right, which is why we have the automation because our response rate wasn't too good. So we
Yeah.
we inputted that automation.
Have you seen a response go sideways at all? I'm just curious because this is
Not
like the
yet.
crux of AI helping versus hindering. You haven't had an issue.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not yet.
Yeah, there could be. But if that's
Yes.
your ratio, if there's 1 out of 1,000,
Yeah,
that's
pretty good.
yeah, you'd take that risk 100
Yeah.
times over.
And we only have it responding to 4 or 5-star reviews. Negative reviews, 3-star or lower, it will suggest a reply, but the franchisee is the one that has to log in and actually manage the.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like
Yes.
high touch on that one then.
Yes. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. These are such good tips. What
Yeah,
other
for sure.
initiatives do you guys have going this year?
Yeah, so we're launching a brand new website for our Blue Frog brand early August in about a month, actually, 30 days. So
no one's
that's
counting.
that's the biggest initiative. We're launching it on the Yext platform, which is the same site that Restoration One is on. So it's going to become in our tech stack. It was previously on WordPress. We're bringing it over to Yext. So that's a big initiative. And we're also doing a little refresh of the Restoration One website as well, including the local pages. So those are the two kind of big initiatives this year for us. along with we are trying to get all of our franchisees to get that local content. So a goal of ours is to have most of them have all that content by the end of the year to try and help.
Yeah. And when you guys are looking at refreshing the website, what was the driver behind it? Was it better structure to get that local content in, the
Yep.
better why, all of it, or?
Better structure to get more of that content in. We'll make it more localized, not as templated. So with that kind of change in the strategy brought up like, hey, let's refresh these pages to actually fit what we're trying to do.
Yeah, awesome. And
Yeah.
I know one thing that you've also checked out is national SEO stuff. Do you have
Mhm.
that's embedded in any website launch too?
Sure.
So talk to me a little about that.
Yeah, so we're really we're rewriting all of our content for the Blue Frog website as we redesign it and all of that. The content was not performing that was on it before, especially with all the changes in the past year. So we thought, why not just do a whole refresh of the content while we're rebuilding this new site? So we're doing a lot of that, keeping in mind the same SEO best practices that have been there forever. Those haven't changed and those aren't
Yeah.
changing. But making sure that we also have the schema in place and some structured content for the now LLMs and the type of content that they want. And what's different is how we're reporting on it now. We're not looking at the usual like impressions, clicks, because organic clicks are going down across everything. So making sure that we get kind of a new mindset on LLM reporting, cited kind of posts or citations that AI is listing you in short prompts or whatever it may be. So that's been a big lift on our team's end, just from overall SEO, is changing how we're reporting and how we think about how things are succeeding. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I would say I think you're one of the first that I've heard a lot of people start to track the metrics of the different journey that's happening and have a
Mm-hmm.
pulse on it, but then to
Mm-hmm.
actually build that into a scorecard or a BI dashboard, I think a lot of marketers are still behind
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, one more thing that we're adding to the list here.
Yep. Yep.
But it is important to understand the new journey and
Mm-hmm.
breaking down what our old scorecards used to be to think,
Yes.
okay, yeah, like how many times was it cited? What are the type of prompts? Like
Yep.
even just a few things like that to start to guide a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more knowledge, then like can
Yeah.
help you figure out that new scorecard.
Yeah, and thankfully some of the tools we have in place provide us with a lot of those metrics, whereas even 6 months ago, you didn't really have a lot of insight. Google is now starting to release some metrics finally on some of their stuff. So just being able to use that now in a strategy. And that is also what franchisees are asking for themselves. How am I performing on LLMs? Am I showing up when people search? I searched on ChatGPT and my name didn't come up. That's
Yeah.
where the conversations are heading now. Not I searched on Google and I didn't come up, though that is still obviously always a conversation. But now it's shifting towards that I didn't show up on Chat or I didn't show up on Perplexity. So we have to be able to show those metrics to engage how things are actually going. So it's nice to be able to see those metrics and start reporting that way, because that is how the industry is going to be shifting.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're coming to an end, but is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wish we would have?
No, I think this has been great. I had a lot of fun just chatting overall strategy digital with you and how we integrate our tech stack with all this new stuff coming up with AI. I just think the biggest thing is enablement. All of this stuff that we talked about, the tech stack, the website, the content, the integrations, it can be in place, but if your franchisees can't easily adopt your systems and your strategies, it's all for naught. So that is a big part of my job here too, is just enablement, producing training documents and webinars and just figuring out how we can get more people to do what they need to do to succeed. So it's 50-50. The systems are great, but if no
Yeah.
one's using it, no one cares.
Yes. And especially when you're getting behind someone's behavior, motivation, there's a lot more than just logic that goes
Yeah.
into adoption and changing
Yeah.
behavior. And so it's what are
Mhm.
those other pieces? Even just you having that case study of people who use the playbook versus not, that
Yeah.
is huge. That is probably helping so much more with engagement than if you didn't have that, like,
Sure.
simple go-to. And
Yeah.
then not to mention just the reward of, oh, I am getting
Like it's
more
working.
leads. I am getting more customers when I do this. That's real. So
Yes,
there's the positive reinforcement.
absolutely. Yep. It speaks for itself. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ashley, thank you so much for coming on. If anyone wanted to learn more about Stellar Service Brands, where can they go?
Yeah, they can go to stellarservicebrands.com and they can read about the different brands under our portfolio and see a little bit more about our leadership team too.
And check out the website when it's launched. I'm excited to check it out. See how it
Yes,
goes.
bluefrogplumbing.com in August.
Love it. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. I had a good time.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Franchise Marketing. This show is brought to you by NetCertive. We help franchise brands and multi-location businesses run localized digital marketing at scale. To learn more, visit netcertive.com.